Okay, so do initial connecting up the receiver and binding it up, and just do a check, make sure all the servos are working. I've purchased the AR836 OT from Spektrum. That's I've got that in a couple other planes right now. They're a little higher end, 8-channel, because even though they say you may not need the reverse thrust, I want it on there anyway. And the one other thing I like about this one, it comes with this one cable, but you can do I set it up for telemetry for my battery, and I purchased. You can probably buy these somewhere else, but these are some balancing lead extensions, and I'll just cut off the ends, and I'll solder those two together, and that way I can be monitoring my battery voltage as I fly. I've got a an F-22 that I'm still struggling with. It really likes to eat the battery up, and so instead of just depending on the timer, I'm also monitoring the battery so I can bring it in when I need to. So anyway, I've mentioned, I think I mentioned last time, is that some people don't like Spektrums. They're all against them. They it's just what I started with. My controller's a Spektrum, so I just kind of what I know. I'm sure there's better or just as good out there, but this is what I got. And then, like I said before, this has got the AS3X built into it and safe. I know that again, a lot of people argue about using safe, and you shouldn't fly with it, and it's a crutch, and it's just like anything else. I saw a video the other day, somebody was showing an actual Boeing jet during turbulence, and they were showing the wings, and they were actually had surfaces that were moving around during some turbulence, showing that the real jets are using similar technology. So it's like, why wouldn't we? It's just an improvement. It could be a crutch if you're not careful, and you could get too used to it. But I'm all about it's what you're having fun with. If you just like flying around in circles and just kind of cruising around, but that's what you enjoy, and that's really what you want to do, why not, right? If you're just getting started, and you just want to have that safety feature that kind of helps you make sure you can maybe bring a plane home in one piece instead of crashing it and being proud that that you crashed it, but at least you didn't use safe, then you could have that too, I guess. So but anyway, so we'll go ahead and start getting this hooked up. Like I said, this is going to kind of get all changed around a little bit once I bypass the their onboard system with my own. I'll have to get some extensions in here to move this up, because I can see the wires are not there. But like I said, I only want to do one thing at a time, and we'll go there. Okay, so the white and black here is your throttle control. Make sure that's at channel 1, and I'm just checking my radio here to the connections. A lot of people have this stuff memorized, but I just kind of still go with double checking. So channel 2 is going to be ailerons. Channel 3 will be elevator. Channel 4 will be rudder. Channel 5 will be gear. 6 is the flap. Now they said here channels, they got this marked as wheel, this last one, but I think that's actually the wing sweep, oddly enough. So we'll see, because there's not marked one in here marked wing sweep, but I think that's what channel 7 is going to be. So, all right, so got the receiver in there. When I programmed the plane, one thing I got to go do some learning on. I'm not really good at the flight modes. I usually just set up the 3 flight modes for my receiver. I've never really set up additional flight modes. I've been watching the videos, but I've been watching this, like, when you sweep the wings, you're going to want the elevator to move with it to kind of compensate. And so I need to go figure out how to do that. But I did notice that I want to make sure my throttle cut is set. I got my throttle cut. Flap on that switch. Now, if you watch the videos, what you'll know, and this is the reason why you want to cycle it, is the onboard controller, which this part you won't bypass, obviously, is if your flaps are down and you sweep the wings, if you, well, you can't see on the video, but the flaps have to be in the up position for the wings to be swept. So the system will actually raise the flaps for you when you do a wing sweep, just to make sure. So that's a good safety feature there. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and I'm not going to turn the plane over right now, so I'll just stick the battery in here, and I'm not worried about my AS3X or my safe right now. So wherever the receiver goes, the receiver goes. Wow, that was interesting. Didn't like that. Okay, so it's not bound, so we're going to bind it. I forgot to hit the bind button on my receiver. It bound, but I wasn't getting Okay, that's a little better. Okay. Elevator's working, flaps, ailerons are working, rudder's working. I want to see if the gear will go up. Gear works. I know you couldn't see that, but I'm going to set it on the gear. Alright, we'll move the camera back a little bit. Alright, so she's on the gear. The tail lights, looks like all the lights are working. Just let's see if we got throttle. Got throttle cut back on. Alright, so I am going to see, I don't have the wing sweep or the flaps or any of that hooked up, so if I can move stuff around, it shouldn't hurt anything. Alright, so that pulled the wings, that will pull the wings in, or yeah, that would have pulled them out full. So oops, I made the same mistake Jeremy made. I let that. Okay, so the wings are swept, so we will make sure they're pushed all the way back, and then here, this is where you'll check your turnbuckles and see if you need to do any adjustments. Let's just see how that one may be good. That one may be good as well. I may have lucked out. Okay, I'm gonna double check what size screws that go in there. I think they're the 14s. Or 12s. Yeah, the 12s. Yeah, we're gonna go for sweeping the wings back out and see how they do. sweeping back, I still don't have my flaps hooked up, so I'm going to make sure I hold those up so when it goes back they don't bind up. I think I need to adjust this on the back. I got a little bit of gap right there. So I think what I want to do is turn that turnbuckle out just maybe, and that's tight. Turn there, let's just see how that looks. Looks like a good, maybe another turn. Like that. Looks good. Okay. I think the next thing going to be is get all the other surfaces set. Need to figure out what the flap settings on my controller need to be and get those set, and get the elevator set. There's some stuff in the book, so I'm going to look at that, get those settings, and then probably the next thing will be, we'll go ahead, I'll probably, after I get all that set up, I'll go ahead and probably do the bypass and get that set up. And then I think I mentioned in the first part, I have some afterburners from RC Geek that need to be installed, and I also got, an Asan steering gyro that I'd like to hook up as well, and just kind of have that comfort zone as well. Anyway, it's coming together. It looks like a plane. Okay, back after a little bit of delay. So I've already hooked up the flaps on the other side, but I'll go ahead and do this side. Watching the video from Jeremy, but his recommendation is, the book has a 45% setting. He recommended on your max flap no more than 45 or 10 centimeters. So I'm gonna put mine on max flap. I've already got that one set at 10 millimeters. And what he recommended and what I did is there's a little tip right there, and if you look on your flap right here, there's another little corner right there, and to measure that to be 10 millimeters at the full. Now it just so happened to be, when I looked at the percentage on my controller, it happened to be at 45%, which is what the book recommendation is. But we'll go ahead and get the measurement. So that's 10 right there. So we'll see. I'm going to have to turn my turnbuckle out just a little bit, probably maybe 2 turns or more. So we'll probably do it. All right. Well, now what I usually do when I check it, I just kind of head and not put it all the way on the ball, but kind of hold it where it's going to be. And then we'll check. And that was a little too much. So we'll go back in another full turn. We'll kind of see where that ends up. Still, must have not had it on there in my initial check, so we'll gonna get a little aggressive and the back way down. Well, it's because I'm turning it the wrong way. You have to think the correct way. You probably saw that on the video. We're going like, you dummy. All right. Push it down just a little bit more. That's too much. Okay, that's it, right on the money. All right, so half flaps, full flaps, and I'm going to check my ailerons here. It's flush against here, just off just a hair there. I'll check the other side. I've got a little bit of a gap here. I'll double check on that one a little bit. Now, well, I'm gonna pull this down a little bit. I'm gonna sweep the wings. Okay, so I'm gonna try it once with the flaps down or up in this case. Just double check the wing sweep. Yeah, it seems to be my neutral's off a little bit, so I'm going to double check that one a little bit later on, but it's working, it's closing them like it should. So the next thing I need to do is check my elevator and make sure it's straight. So I'm going to sweep the wings again because it's just easier to turn this plane. All right, I'm going to pause the video, get the plane set up. Okay, so getting ready to finish up looking at the elevator. I've kind of looking at it down low, looking at it. There's actually a little panel line coming down from the rudder here, and there's another one right there, and then the center there, and that looks to be really pretty close to low. So I'm going to actually tighten that screw down a little bit. Seems like the Allen wrench they gave you doesn't fit real well. I'll have to find one that fits a little bit better. I'll double check on that when I get it. And then the last thing is kind of just look at the rudder, and it looks good and it actually feels good. All right, so I'll just kind of check the, that's not real smooth, but that's also, I don't know if it's the gyro that's in it. If I go just a little easier on the thumb, it's a little bit better. Okay, now I did notice checking the directions, ailerons are working correctly, but I'm gonna have to reverse rudder and the ailerons, the servos. So I'm going to go on my controller. Servo setup. Reverse. Have to reverse the elevator and the rudder. Alright, so, alright, up, down, right, left, right, left. Alright, steering's working up front. So, really, technically, the plane could fly right now if I tied down my receiver and everything's crooked here. I could actually fly the plane, like I said before. I still got a lot of work to do. I got to still learn about, so I'm going to do a little more studying on the setting up the flight modes. Be nice if there was somebody who had a video I've looked that's really walks through it, but maybe I'm just missing it. So once I post this, if somebody knows a good video for that, I might have figured it out by then. But yeah, it definitely look like I'm going to have to do some adjustments on my flaps and my ailerons. They're definitely down. But I think about it. I remember seeing on the video from Jeremy. He said that it does this because of the way the gyro works. It's looking for movement to stabilize. So this actually may be normal. So I'll see what it looks like when I bypass it and see if I have to need to do any adjustments. But for now, I'm going to get a few things cleaned up. Probably now that everything's working and I'm comfortable that all the surfaces are moving correctly and the wing sweeps are moving correctly, I think I'm going to be ready to go ahead and do the bypass next. And when I'm happy with that, then I'll go ahead and start working on the afterburners. And still waiting on the graphics from Cali. I was hoping they would have come in today, but the way the weather is here this weekend, even if I thought I was going to be ready to fly, the weather's not going to be ready. But I think I've still got another week or so before I get my controller and everything comfortable. So anyway, if you are watching this has done you any good, leave me a comment, thumbs up. Not looking for monetary things, just doing it because maybe another flyer out there is kind of going through the same issues I did. So anyway, have a great evening, and until next video.